What up, guys? Beautiful day out, but it's really windy, so I think I'm gonna just chill in here and do a video for you guys. Let's talk about reincarnation. So if you do a little searching on the internet, you might run into a few perspectives, but the couple I'm more aware of are, the spiritual perspective, the one I'll talk about in a sec, and the reincarnation trap, in a sense. And while there may be some truth to that there may have been some sort of imposed force deluding us into coming back and re-experiencing Earth multiple times, I think it's a kind of a stretch and a bit of fear mongering, but whatever you resonate with. Personally, I don't resonate with that fear mongering theory in a sense, because it constricts when I think about that. And like I said, there might be some truth to that. I have no idea, but I'm going to explain my perspective and based on spiritual truths that I've gathered along my journey. So even actually in Buddhism and Hinduism is described as samsara, the turning of the wheel, the cycles that we go through. But if you kind of analyze it a bit deeper, I like to think of it kind of like I don't know. I'm not familiar with farmer terminology, but I know you have like a churn, right? Where you mix, I don't even know, I think it's flour or something. Not flour, but wheat. But it's like a wheel. So it spins and spins and you churn and turn, and out of that will grow like a flower. And that flower represents the evolution of your soul. So your soul comes to Earth to experience the third density. This is the third density, and it has a choice to make between love and fear. That's what is described in the Law of One. And there are those that are unconscious of this choice. They don't remember the reason they came here, and then they die, and their soul remembers, and they decide to reincarnate on this Earth or on a similar Earth-like planet, in another solar system or another universe or whatever. But many souls have had past lives here, and that's because they didn't learn our lessons. We come here, we will live our lives mostly unconscious, thinking we're doing what's best, and instead of living to serve others, really from a place of love, there's nothing wrong with service to self, because if you do it in a way in which you try to make yourself better, because of the desire to help others. So like, for example, I have a desire to become financially prosperous because I know of all the people that I can help out and the amount that I can really contribute to humanity if I had this tool called money that we use for exchange. So that is a good, or quote unquote good service to self type of thing. Or even something like bodybuilding, like, oh, he works out, he's tough, he's big, and then he doesn't use it to harm others, so that would be a negative path. He uses it to protect others, to come to be of service, right? So that's just my interpretation of how I see that. And then like, let's say the people in Atlantis, they were given a choice between technology and spirituality, in a sense, and they chose technology without matching their evolution of spirituality to it. So they had all this excellent technology and they just weren't ready for it, and Atlantis sunk because they misused it and they used it for a negative path. So the souls involved there, they came out of that, they understood what had happened, they realized that they entered the astral realms and back into their connection with source, and they're all looking, and in essence they're judging themselves. That is the judgment that they speak of in the Bible. Oh, God will judge you, and you'll be damned to hell or something. No, it's really us judging ourselves. And we notice that, oh, look at all these souls that we hurt along the way. And then we look at the good, look at all the good we may have done. And if it's not greater than 51%, as the law of one describes it, we don't really graduate. So if we're stuck in between like a 5% and a 50% ratio, you can hear the wind, 50% ratio of good deeds, our soul chooses to reincarnate because we didn't understand the lesson. And I say 5% because in order to you can actually go to a negative fourth density as well, which that's 90. You'd have to be polarized 95% negatively. So that means you did 95% of your deeds, of the things you did in life, were really, really negative, and you hurt a lot of people. But that's whatever path your soul chooses. But even here now, we're on a great transition, because Earth has already chosen to move to the positive fourth density, and it's asking a lot of us here to wake up and to either choose that with her, or basically die or reincarnate somewhere else, because she's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done with all the suffering. I've learned my lessons. So that's why we reincarnate. We keep coming back to re-experience the other people's perspectives. That's our karma. We, for example, say a person murdered another person. That person, the soul, that the murderer, will communicate with the other soul in the astral, and they'll work out some kind of agreement. Let's go back to Earth, and I want you to murder me now so that I can experience the pain that you felt, or I want to be the family member of yours that felt the pain of losing you, or something of that nature. So that's what karma is. It's contractual agreement. That's why you may hear of karmic partners and in relationships, because they need to learn certain lessons from each other that they didn't learn in other lives. They kept making the same mistake over and over and over again, and they need some sort of catalyst to just slap them awake, lovingly, of course. So yeah, that's pretty much what I understand of reincarnation. Feel free to comment below your own perspective, but I don't think it's a trap, because we willingly come back to experience lessons. Imagine you're in the astrals, right? You're in higher densities, higher dimensions, and you're fully connected to the source. You know what love is, but you're still a young soul. You don't have all these lessons, and you choose to come to separate yourself and come back. These are sort of kind of wanderers. You wouldn't really start in the third density, but just for example, say you come back and you want to experience the lesson of why we don't need fear. So in order to do that, you have to have fear. You have to have polarity. But the law of one describes it as us initially starting on the first density. So we start out as, for example, a rock. You're just there. Your spirit is in an inanimate object, and you're experiencing beingness. And then let's say, for example, you're a rock, the rock, land on a plant, and you've, in a sense, inhibit its growth for the time being, until the plant decides to just grow through you and split you into a bunch of pieces. So there's your lesson, basically. Don't hurt plants, in a sense. I'm not really quite sure how the whole intention works if you're not quite able to control yourself as a rock. But you hear of glaciers moving by themselves all the time, so I have no idea, and that in that sense. But basically, that's what I've learned about reincarnation so far, and that's really what resonates with me, with my own truth. So if you like the video, obviously give it a like. Leave a comment, share your own perspective, and I'll be offering more stuff like this. So take care.